this is Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with... What? No one's there? Oh. But yeah, I'm going to be flying solo today, and this is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. And look at this lovely apron. Look at it. It says Cooking with Kenshin1913. That's right. I am now selling them. So if you want to purchase one for yourself while you're cooking at home, send me a private message and we can discuss. Yeah, so in this episode, we're going to be making my own Pete's Hamburger Helper. Alright, so we're going to be making my own hamburger helper, and of course you're going to need meat. Organic beef. Well, no, it doesn't have to be organic, but you need meat. You can actually, this is a very versatile recipe. You can actually use either, you can use ground beef, ground pork, ground turkey, ground chicken. It's very versatile. So we're going to need meat. You're going to need some spices, garlic powder, onion powder, pepper. You can either use black pepper or peppercorn. It doesn't really matter. You can also, we're actually going to be using some salt. We're going to have Worcestershire Sauce, or Worcestershire, or whatever the hell you want to call it. We're going to be needing cheese, cheddar. I'm going to be using white sharp cheddar, but you can kind of use whatever one you want. Again, this recipe is very versatile. You can use whatever kind of cheese you want. I usually use cheddar. We're going to be using a can of green peas and a can of corn. Now the thing about these two vegetables here, you don't have to use the cans. You can actually get fresh if you want and just boil them up and cook them yourself. You can use string beans. You can use regular beans if you wanted to. You can use a lot of different things. I usually go with corn and peas because I mind my P's and Q's, sort of. And then we're gonna need a can of cream, a mushroom. Now you could actually use cream of celery, or that's really it. I'm thinking you can. Again, it's a very versatile recipe. And I'm gonna be using some buttered noodles, some egg noodles for to cook stuff. So what we're gonna do is start our cooking process. All right. So the first thing that we want to do is turn on our water. Now I know you probably couldn't see it, but there's a fire brewing underneath here, as you can see. So you want to turn on your water, and what I like to do is add a little bit of salt, just a tiny bit. Now usually we don't cook with salt in our house, but lately we've been adding just a touch here and there because it just helps season up the food a little bit. So, and we're going to get this going. And this hamburger helper is a very easy recipe. It probably only take you about 20 or so minutes to actually cook it. So you want to start by putting the water on first. Alright, so we have our pan here. This is a frying pan. As you can see, it's fairly round. I'm going to move this over here. We're going to turn on the heat. Yeah, flame on. So what you're going to do is put that on there. And then what we're going to do is just add a tiny bit, this is a little bit of olive oil, just to coat the pan so that the meat won't stick. So we're going to let that get heated up. And of course I washed my hands before this. We're going to take our beef and we're going to open it up. And we're just going to put it in here. Now this package is about 1.33 pounds, okay? This is a little over a pound of chopped meat. Again, you could use turkey, you can use chicken, you can use pork, you could use tofu, I guess, maybe that would work. So what I'm going to do is, I need to grab a spoon. What I like to do is use a wooden spoon, or whatever kind of spoon you want. Since this is a non-stick pan, I like to make sure to use something that's not metallic and scrape the bottom of the pan. You don't want to do that. So what I like to do is just kind of break up the meat. Probably should let the pan warm up a little bit more, but that's alright because it'll get warm and we'll get going fairly soon. So what I do is I break up the meat with the spoon or whatever utensil you're using. You can use a fork if you got it, and just kind of break it up. Break it up. You gotta break it up. So yeah, just kind of get it get it going here. And when you have it broken up pretty nicely, and as you can see, we're on a high heat, by the way. When you got it broken up pretty nice, what you want to do is take your salt, just a little. Now I know a lot of people don't like using salt, but it does help bring out some flavors. So you're definitely going to use some salt. We're going to be using pepper. Again, you can use black pepper. I'm using peppercorns, the rainbow pepper, because I like the extra flavor it gives. So just I'm not exactly sure how much I'm using. Probably maybe a teaspoon, a dash of salt. We're gonna be using onion powder. I'm just gonna use the rest of this. This is probably about about a teaspoon of onion powder, because you want to season up your meat while it's cooking, obviously. And then garlic powder. Now, as you can see, I'm using the big one because the little one's empty. So, just a tiny bit. There we go. And that's the garlic powder. And then the final thing you want to add is Worcestershire or whatever. And this makes beef taste better. So you just dabble it. Probably about a teaspoon again. I try. So you just kind of let this cook now, and you get it brown. And while you're getting this brown, one thing you're going to want to do, depending on your cheese, if you've already bought it pre-shredded, then don't worry. But at this point, you're going to want to shred your cheese. So what I'm going to do is shred the cheese and open up my cans of vegetables. Now, if you're using fresh vegetables, I would highly recommend to cook them, boil them up or do whatever and get them a little cooked, because we're not really going to cook them in this meat recipe. We're just going to kind of throw them in there and heat them up. So you're going to want to cook them beforehand. And again, you can use fresh. I'm using canned because it's just quicker. So yeah, I'll be right back, and I will shred the cheese and get the cans open while this is browning, of course. Alright, we are back, and as you can see, the meat is almost browned all the way. I opened up my cans of corn and peas, and I drained the liquid. You want to drain the liquid, and don't worry about like this liquid on the bottom. This is just like excess fat slash water. If you don't want it in your thing, you can actually move all this to the side like this, and get a spoon like this and render it out. This is called rendering out the fat. If you took this out, but I'm actually going to keep it in. It's actually more water than it is fat, because the meat was like, I think it was like 85% lean. I think. I don't remember. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you about what my inspiration to make this was. Basically, it was just I liked Hamburger Helper as a kid. We would eat it occasionally, and one day we had some chopped meat downstairs, and I was trying to think of something to do with it for dinner, because when I didn't have a job, what I ended up doing was I used to stay home and cook dinner a lot, and that's when I started really getting into cooking. And what I would do is I would go downstairs and just kind of look and see what we had in the fridge, and go, what can I make with that? So one day I brought up the meat, and I was like, what can I do with this? And I had cans of corn and peas, and a can of like cream of celery or whatever, and I just decided I'm gonna make some Hamburger Helper kind of thing. So now, as you can see, I shredded about half of the stick of cheese there. Now that's about a pound of cheese. I only shredded about a half of it. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit, because this is probably the amount that I want. Anyways, I'm just going to put a little bit in there, just a tiny bit. You want to save the rest. You want to save the rest for the end. Now again, you can use any kind of cheese you want. You can use Monterey Jack. You can use cheddar. You can use Gruyere, I guess. You could use seriously any kind of cheese. I just did it with cheddar the very first time, and it was really good. And I said, what the hell, I'll just use it again. I figured I'd show how to make the recipe the original way first. And you know, this recipe is really easy. Like, the longest thing you gotta worry about is cooking the meat and getting the water to boil. So the next thing we want to do is we've opened up our can of cream of mushroom, and I want to just get all that stuff out there. Now if you want, you can actually put actual mushrooms in here, and what we're going to do is take the cream of mushroom and just get out all of that, all of the soup from here, the soup mix. Now the nice thing about this recipe, besides the cream of mushroom, is that you know what's going in it. Like, sometimes when you buy those boxed meals that like you can make, you know, there's a lot of stuff in there, you're like, what the hell is all this? And for this is fairly easy. If you know what you're getting, you can literally add, like, I guess you don't really need to add the cream of mushroom. I do, just to give it another like layer of flavor, and it really helps to like merge all the flavors, like when we put in the green beans and everything. So now we just gotta kind of spin this around, get it all mixed up together here. And the first time I made this recipe, I did use cream of celery, which is like a soup kind of thing. Actually, you know what you could do? You could actually throw in some onion soup mix, but the first time I made this, I used cream of celery, and I did notice that cream of mushroom is better, so I decided to amend the recipe and use cream of mushroom. Now we're just gonna let this warm up, get all warmed up, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw in our vegetables. And like I said, you can kind of throw in whichever ones you want. You could throw in, like I said, you can throw in beans, you can throw in corn, carrots, peas, regular green beans, like long string beans. You can really do whatever you want. At this point, you don't have to season it at all, because it's pretty much seasoned. You'll probably season it just a little bit when you throw in the vegetables, though. So you gotta let that warm up pretty nicely, right? Give it a minute or two. You get the cream of mushroom and all that warmed up. Now what you want to do is, again, I drained the liquid from the can of corn and the can of peas. And like I said, you could seriously use fresh. I've used fresh before. Fresh peas in here instead of the canned peas are a lot better. But like I said, this is a quick meal. If you want to make for you, this will probably feed about 4 people, you and your buddies. This is a pretty nice meal. Now, I know it doesn't look too good right now, but let me tell you, it's friggin' delicious. So you just kind of, you gotta incorporate everything here. And here, if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of pepper. I'm going to. I would add a little bit of pepper. You could add, seriously, you could add any other seasoning that you want. I'm just going to add the pepper. Give it a nice little, and I'd say that's about that might be a tablespoon or something. Anyways, yeah. So let's mix this up. Get everything all nice, and yeah. So this is actually just we're kind of warm this up, and we're still on high heat here. So you just kind of get this all warm, and as you can hear, you might be able to hear the water is boiling. Now you could use. You don't have to use egg noodles. You can use rice. This is good over a bed of rice. So now what I'm going to do is lower the heat. I'm going to take the rest of the cheese and just put it on top. And I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'm going to keep it on low to keep it warm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the macaroni, and then we will finish off the dish. Now you could mix this stuff in, but I like to keep it on the top, because then you get the nice cheesy flavor. But yeah, so this is it. This is Pete's Hamburger Helper. I'm gonna make the noodles, and then we're going to finish off the dish. So I will be right back. Alright, I have made the macaroni, or the buttered noodles, egg noodles, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, I just added a tiny bit of olive oil so that they won't stick. So let's plate this bad boy. Putting in a couple of, yeah, probably not the best spoon for this. What are you gonna do? Just a couple of spoonfuls of Ronies helps the hamburger helper go down. One more. The hamburger helper go down. The hamburger helper go down. Just a spoonful of hamburger helper helps the macaroni go down in the most delightful way. Now you could jazz this up. I'm sure you could put like peppers or whatever. This is a super versatile recipe. As I mentioned before, you can use really whatever you want. So yeah, doesn't that look pretty good? I mean, it doesn't look too good, but it's friggin' delicious. So let's eat it. Alright, look at our hamburger helper, huh? Doesn't it look good? I mean, it looks good to me. And like I said, versatile. You can really do whatever the hell you want with it. It's very hot. Mmm. The meat's good. You got all your damn food groups in here. You got vegetables, you got cheese, you got meat, you got grains. You know, it's like the whole package. It's just really, really good. And I really enjoy it. And I hope you will too. So, this has been P, or Kenshin1913. Make sure to check out for a unique apron if you want one. Ask me to find out how you can get your own. So this has been Pete, or Kenshin1913, and I'm going to channel my mom. And enjoy and happy eating, and we'll see you in the next Cooking with Kenshin1913. Bye-bye.